And when you said, I felt like someone was standing on my chest, right? Like, this is the thing, man. Like, with like PTSD, anxiety, depression, and things like that, people don't see like a physical disability, so they don't think that there's anything wrong with someone. Right now, if someone's dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD, like, it literally feels like a physical fucking burden, right? So in my coaching journey, I did what's called an NLP course and became a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. And something that I took away from that, one of the biggest things, was how you speak to yourself. So going right back to what we said at the start about, here's the conclusion, and then we start creating these stories to fill in the gaps, right? And this is where I think, for myself, I went through a little bit of a rough time, not as bad as a lot of people that transition from the military, but I went through a little bit of a rough time, kind of floated a little bit, lost my tribe, my self-identity, my purpose, my direction. And once I started implementing these tools again that I'd learned, standard operating procedures like getting out of bed at the same time, making my bed, shaving, fucking going to the gym, looking after myself and building my schedule, man, like, it really allowed me to, continue progressing my life in a way that was going to allow me to become and grow into the person that I wanted to be. Now, something that was really important there was those stories that I was telling myself. I had to change the story that I was telling myself, and instead of being, this entitled guy, I was like, I've been awarded this and fucking I was a highly functioning soldier and blah, 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 blah. And now, like, everyone else is shit. Like, I'm dealing with these people who, I can't rely upon at work, that are unprofessional, that are, not showing up on time and not respectful and not professional, not capable of doing their job, or just like barely meeting the minimum standard, man. I had to tell myself a different story, and I had to create a new narrative to be like, all right, well, maybe they just haven't had that same level of training. I've had a higher level of training. I expect higher standards from myself, and that's because, I'm relied upon as part of a team, right? So I started changing, the narratives that I was saying to myself and speaking to myself different. And I was like, well, that instead of that happening to me, that happened for me. All the good things in my life, all the bad things in my life, what did I learn from that particular situation? Okay. And again, I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to think about, I give myself a little AAR. All right, if that situation came up again, what would I fix? How would I fix it? What are my improves? How can I improve it? What sustained? What did I do well to deal with that situation? All right, cool. Sweet. If this situation comes up again, how am I going to deal with it, right? And like, for me, always reflecting on, those decisions, actions, behaviors, circumstances, events that then, made me think about who I wanted to be, how I was going to deal with that again moving forward. Like, I love reflecting on all of those events, those crossroads in my life, to then go, hey, I learned something from that. What did I learn from that? How can I apply that in the future? So then I can start projecting towards, walking that path that I want to walk on to become the person that I want to be, man. I think that's really fucking powerful, is the way that you speak to yourself, because we want to take ourselves from, this victim mentality where we go, well, this happened to me, right? And now, because it happened to me, that story is like, I have no power in that. I have no control over what happens. Whereas if you go the other way and you take ownership, you take responsibility, you're accountable for those actions. All right, what did I do to get myself in that situation? Yeah, maybe I was being a shit partner. Maybe, I was being a little bit high and mighty. Maybe I wasn't giving people a fair chance when, maybe they had something going on in their life and they were rocking up late to work, or whatever it might be, man. And I was like, all right, how can I become a better person? How can I tell myself a different story that's going to shape my mentality? And, instead of moving backwards, I'm now progressing forwards. As I said earlier, man, I want to be a fucking better person, a better human, a better man, a better coach in 5 years' time than what I am right now. Because I can look back to 5 years ago and say, I have improved in fucking so many areas of my life. And I'm really grateful for everything that's happened to me up until this point.